I'd like to begin by just getting them to tell us a little bit about how they got started dancing the tango. This is a quite interesting story.
Voy a decir, lo que pasa es que hace tantos años ya, yo empecé a los 7 años de edad.
Okay, he says I began really at 7 years old.
Me enseñó mi padre.
And my father taught me how to dance.
Los primeros tangos con cachengue.
And the first tangos that he learned were of a style that's called cachengue. It's an old-fashioned style.
Y después fui aprendiendo con otros milongueros de aquella época.
And then after that, I began to learn with some of the other dancers from that time.
Del año 40, por ejemplo.
Este fue el año 40. This was about 1940, 1942.
Y bueno, después no paré.
He said, I never stopped dancing.
Únicamente paramos, señora, cuando vino nuestra hija.
The only time we really stopped was when my daughter was born. We stopped for a while.
Se casó la hija y seguimos bailando.
Then our daughter got married and we kept going dancing.
Bueno, ya después ya de grande, a los 56 años, 54 años, empecé a recorrer
He said when I was about 54, we started to travel to Europe to dance.
Todos los años viajamos 2 veces a Europa.
And now every year we go twice to Europe.
Y una vez sola fui a California.
And one time only we went to California in the United States. I'm asking you to tell us a little bit about what the tango world was like here when he first began to dance. And he said that there were lots and lots and lots of milongas.
Te voy a dar algunos nombres.
I'll give you a few names
de aquella época.
from that time period.
Vicente Pla.
Vicente Pla.
Petróleo. No, el milonguero.
Oh, estás hablando de milongueros.
El milonguero.
Okay, he's giving us names of some of the famous dancers from that time.
Vicente Pla.
Vicente Pla was a famous dancer. Petróleo. And Petróleo is the person who is credited with developing these turns that everyone does. Back in the 40s.
Estaba Frasquito.
Another dancer named Frasquito.
Son todos sobrenombres.
And these were all nicknames. Everyone had a nickname in the tango world.
Rana.
Someone whose name was Rana, which means frog.
Bueno, había mucha gente.
There were lots of them.
Mucha gente. La primera parte que aprendí fue de mujer.
He said, when I learned the tango, I began by dancing the follower's part, the woman's part.
Porque si no sabías bailar de mujer, no te enseñabas de hombre.
Because if you didn't know how to dance the woman's part at that time, they wouldn't teach you the man's part.
Eso. Y las academias eran entre muchachos.
And at that time, there weren't really schools, but people practiced between men. ¿Y cuántos años tienes cuando empezaste a
de mujeres tendría 14 años, 15 años.
So he said I was about 14 or 15 when I started practicing the woman's part to learn. And he said that's a long time ago. Okay, y María, ¿puedes decirnos cómo empezaste?
Desde muy chiquita.
And she said I started from when I was very small.
En las fiestas familiares.
And it was in family parties really that she began to dance.
Los cumpleaños.
Birthday parties.
Los fines de año.
And New Year's parties.
Los casamientos. Siempre había una reunión familiar donde se bailaba todo.
There was always some kind of family get-together where people would dance.
Los padres, los abuelos, los tíos.
Your parents, your uncles and aunts, your grandparents would be dancing.
En mi familia había músicos. Claro, tocaban la guitarra.
She said there were musicians in our family. There were people who played the guitar
el acordeón.
and the accordion.
Y entonces, bueno, en las fiestas familiares, todos los chicos y los grandes cantábamos y bailábamos.
And so in the family get-togethers, everyone, the young people and the old people, would dance and sing together.
Y después para los carnavales,
And after that, for the carnival,
había bailes infantiles.
there were dances for young people. ¿De gente de qué edad?
Ah, de 4, de 5, de 6, de... Sí,
Para bailar tango?
sí.
Okay, she's saying that there were dances for kids, for really little kids, kids who are 4, 5, and 6 years
Era
old.
un baile a las 2 de la tarde hasta las 5.
And she said they would dance from 2 in the afternoon to 5 in the afternoon. Eso was.
Sí, sí.
And I'm saying that 3 hours, that sounds like a lot of time for really little
Había
kids to dance.
concursos de disfraces.
And there, she said there were competitions for kind of costume masquerade competitions.
Concursos de baile.
And there were competitions for dance.
Sí. Entre niños.
There were dance competitions among little kids.
Entre niños. Sí, tango.
Dancing tango.
Tango. Sí. Eso era improvisar.
I'm asking if the kids in these competitions would dance choreography or improvise. And she said it was all improvised.
Por supuesto que eran cosas simples, ¿no?
And she said, of course, they basically did pretty simple stuff.
Pero el oído era la música.
But they had the ability to hear the music. ¿Y cómo se encontraron? Now I'm asking them to tell us how they met.
Zep me hace decir muchas cosas.
He said, Jeff makes me say a lot of stuff.
Yo tenía 14 años cuando...
She says, I was 14 when I met him.
Era chiquitita. Y yo también.
He says she was really young and I was too.
Yo fui a bailar a un club
I went to a club to dance,
de tango
tango club,
y no vino mi compañera.
and no vino.
No vino.
And what happened was, he said, my dance partner didn't show up.
Vino María.
And one of the people who did show up was Maria.
Entonces, como era nueva en el club, ella era nueva.
And so because she was new in this particular club, this was the first time she'd gone to that club.
Era la primera vez que venía.
It was the first time she came.
Entonces, yo entré, en aquella época se cabeceaba la mujer.
And so at that time, I would ask women to dance with these gestures of the head and the eyes.
Entonces yo la cabeceaba
So I made a little head gesture to her,
y ella no quería saber.
and she didn't want to have anything to do with me.
Bueno,
No,
entonces,
Now she's saying no.
había un motivo por qué yo no quería bailar.
And she said there was a reason why I didn't want to dance.
Dije, es buen mozo, buen lindo. Sí.
Okay, she said,
Yo pensé,
I thought he was a good-looking guy.
está bien vestido,
He was well-dressed,
baila muy
and
bien,
he danced very well.
debe ser terriblemente engrupido, orgulloso,
She said, so I figured he was probably just terribly stuck up.
así.
I figured he probably had his nose in the air.
Entonces dije, yo no voy a
So I
bailar.
said, okay, I'm not going to dance with him.
sí, pero
But
una hora antes de terminar el baile,
about an hour before the dance ended,
no pudo aguantar la señora y salió a bailar conmigo.
okay, he said about an hour before the dance finished, she finally couldn't take it anymore and she came and danced.
Y ahí empezó, y ahí ustedes saben, acá estamos después de 50 años.
And he said, that's where it began, and here we are, after 50 years, we're still here.
No, 50 años no, espera.
Bueno, 43 de casado.
No,
He said, we were married for 43 years, and she says, no.
son muchos, ya perdí la cuenta.
It's so many years, we can't even count anymore.
40 años.
40 years.
40 años.
Y después bailaron mucho juntos.
Sí, siempre bailamos juntos, sí. Siempre.
¿Y en qué tipo de lugares?
Bueno, en Buenos Aires, en muchos lados. Nosotros,
So they danced together in a lot of different places around Buenos Aires.
cuando estaba el patio de la Morocha con Aníbal,
Then there was this place called the Patio de la Morocho with Troilo.
en el año... ay,
Bailaron con la guess.
no, porque me vinieron a buscar y como ella era muy chiquitita, yo no quise llevarla ahí.
Era muy joven.
Okay, I asked if they went and danced with the Troilo Orchestra, and he said no, because at that time they wanted me to go there, but she was so young that I just didn't feel like I should take her to that place.
Bueno, yo desprecié ese trabajo.
¿Qué quieres decir?
Que no quise llevarla a ella porque era muy joven.
She said he was supposed to go dance at that place, but he didn't want to do it because he felt like she was too young.
Pero Dios me dio la gracia de bailar en casi toda Europa. En Europa.
Más recién.
No, eso hace 11 años. Por eso desprecié ese trabajo en aquella época, pero ahora de viejo recortamos.
Yeah, so he said, so I turned down that job that would have been a very important job, but he said now many years later I've had the good fortune to be able to travel and dance all over Europe.
Y ahora estamos recorriendo Europa y ahora mañana nos vamos a Estados Unidos.
He says, now we're traveling to Europe a lot, and actually tomorrow we're going to the United States.
A Nueva York.
We're going to New York.
Hacer 2 representaciones de teatro.
We're going to do two performances of a theater work.
Con la compañía de tangueros.
With a company of tango dancers.
Y la orquesta Color Tango.
And with the orchestra that's called Color Tango. It's an Argentine theater piece that's going on tour with a lot of dancers in it. They're going with it.
Pregunten ustedes.
Ustedes pregunten.
They're saying, would you like to ask some questions?
How is he going to be in New York?
¿Cuánto tiempo van a estar en Nueva York?
Una semana.
Sí,
One week.
muy poco.
We'll be in New York next year.
Dice que él va a estar en Nueva York la semana que viene.
Y nosotros volvemos el martes
Aquí.
a Buenos Aires.
Wow.
Okay, they're only going to be there a little bit less than a week, I guess.
Hacemos 2 solas representaciones.
2 performances only.
Una en Manhattan
One in Manhattan.
y la otra no
Es muy
recuerdo.
próximo.
No, son muy próximos, pero no recuerdo.
There's another one that's very close, but I don't remember where that is exactly. Y había todo una época cuando había todo una época. Un periodo de años cuando no bailó.
Y no, cuando ella quedó embarazada, no se bailó más. Hasta
Durante cuántos años.
y 20.
Desde cuando
Y desde el 61 hasta...
Rodolfo, cuando empezó la dictadura, cuando fue el golpe
Sí, después vino el
militar,
golpe militar, tampoco se bailó.
no se bailó más.
And I'm trying to get them to tell us there was this period of years when they weren't dancing, which started around the time their daughter was born, and then there was this military coup here that brought in an era of military governments, and so they did not dance during that period of time, about 20 years. Pero durante el tiempo siguieron bailando en la casa.
Sí, después en fiestas familiares, en reuniones familiares, sí.
They continued to dance in their home, but there was a long period of time when they didn't go out dancing.
Pero ya en los clubes no, porque no había reuniones en los clubes.
And during that period of time, there were no dances in the clubs.
No, en el centro y de vez en cuando, muy de vez en cuando.
Only every once in a while there would be some kind of dance in the center of the city. But this again was the period when the tango went into a very, very major decline.
Bueno, que pregunten.
Questions?
How is the style of the merengue? How is that different from the contemporary?
¿Qué fue la diferencia entre el estilo canjengue y los otros estilos más comunes?
Antiguamente, antes,
In the old days,
se bailaba el tango canyengue,
they danced a style of tango called canjengue,
orillero,
and there was a style called orillero,
tango salón
tango salon,
y fantasía.
and fantasy or fantasia tango.
Siempre hubo diferencias,
And there were always differences between these different styles.
porque en el tango canyengue no había figuras,
Because in the canjengue tango, they didn't have figures.
era rítmico,
It was very rhythmic.
más la posición del hombre y la mujer.
It was more the position, the kind of embrace that they had.
Entonces, en el orillero sí había figuras, pero no ganchos.
Now, in the orillero style, there were figures, but they didn't use ganchos in that style.
Claro, había figuras todo el piso.
There were figures, but it was all on the floor.
No gancho, no boleo.
They didn't use ganchos or boleos.
Eso apareció después del año 50.
That stuff came in after about 1950.
50, 51, bueno, ahí empezó los ganchos.
Pero la gente hicieron ganchos en la pista.
Sí, se hacía. ¿Cuándo se podía?
Okay, I'm asking, this is a question I've always wondered about. I'm asking whether people did ganchos on the dance floor at that time. And he said, yes, they did, but only when they could, when there was space or room.
Porque antes la gente respetaba mucho el círculo de la pista.
Because in that time, people respected the movement of the dancing around the dance floor.
Se bailaba, cuando había mucha gente, se bailaba en un pedacito.
And when there were a lot of people, you would just dance in a very small space.
Entonces no se podía hacer gancho ni boleo.
So you couldn't really do ganchos or boleos.
Entonces se hacía figuras chiquitas.
So you would do smaller figures.
Pero cuando después, a cierta hora de la madrugada,
And so after, at a certain time, really late at night,
ahí uno se sacaba el gusto, porque había menos gente,
if you began to feel like it when there were less people on the dance floor,
y ahí se hacía todo lo que se podía.
then you could do anything that you wanted to, anything you could do.
Eso.
Question?
How long did you study the followers art before you studied music art?
¿Cuánto tiempo bailaste la parte de mujer antes de empezar a bailar?
Y casi un año,
Almost a year, it says.
casi un año.
Y durante este año no bailaste nada de la parte de mujer.
Sí, bailaba en mi casa con mi hermana y con mi familia.
Okay, I was asking him if during that whole year he didn't dance the man's part at all, and he said, no, I did, but at home with my sister and people in the family, but when he went out to dance, to learn, it was only the woman's part for about a year.
Así se acostumbraba antes.
And that's what you were used to back in the old days.
Ahora ya no, ahora ya la gente ya entra a bailar
Now it's not like that anymore.
y yo la comprendo,
People just start dancing, and I understand that,
porque todos quieren aprender figuras,
because everyone wants to learn figures,
ganchos, boleos,
ganchos and boleos.
pero yo les puedo garantizar a ustedes,
Después, ¿qué?
les puedo garantizar
Okay, but I can assure you,
que aprendan a caminar.
or I can really tell you that you must learn how to walk.
Cuando ustedes sepan caminar,
When you really know how to walk,
tener la estabilidad,
learn how to have stability
tanto de la mujer como del hombre,
for both the man and the woman.
la figura después ustedes la van a aprender, pero rapidísimo.
After that, once you really know how to work, how to walk, and you really have stability, then all these figures will come and you'll really pick them up fast. They'll just come out fast.
Pero practiquen la salida,
But you should really practice the salida,
la corrida
the walking steps,
y algunos giros sencillos.
and some of the basic turns.
Y después van a ver que se van a acordar de Rodolfo, que las figuras salen más fácil.
And if you do that, someday you'll think back and you'll remember that Rodolfo told me this, and now I can see that I can do these figures much more easily.
Ahora hablar a María, porque si no hablo siempre yo.
Okay, now let's let Maria talk because I'm talking a lot.
Estoy un poco triste
She says, I'm a little bit sad
porque veo poca gente.
because I don't see so many people here right now.
¿Puedo saber por qué?
Does anybody know why?
Porque el día empezó bien temprano hoy. Y estamos bailando tango desde el ¿qué día? Jueves. We've been at it since Thursday.
Claro.
Yeah. And then we have to go tonight. We're going towards Milonga. Vamos para Milonga esta noche también, para Morocco.
Claro.
Y todo el mundo está arrastrándose el cuerpo por ahí.
Sí, sí.
Perfecto.
Pero perdona, disculpa.
No, porque nosotros es un gran placer
For us, it's really a great pleasure
trabajar con ustedes.
to work with you.
Y tenemos un gran reconocimiento por Jeff y por
We have
Daniel.
a big appreciation for Jeff and for Daniel.
Y bueno, para nosotros nuestro triunfo
And for us, the real triumph
es tener mucha gente.
is to have a lot of people.
Porque si uno tiene poca gente es porque no gusta.
Because if you have only a few people, it's because they don't really like it so much. Yo creo personalmente que fue muy obvio que les encantó. Y simplemente están tratando de descansarse.
Pero te das cuenta, como las clases nuestras, siempre hay mucha gente en la conferencia. En la conferencia.
Esta vez pasa que yo veo que en todas las entrevistas hay una gente.
Ah, sí.
Pues en este grupo creo que hay más gente que ni están aprobando.
Bueno, no, pero
Creo que sí.
yo comprendo.
All the interviews this week, there are less people saying the interviews. I think there are people who just don't want to say the interview and actually try.
No. Exhaust.
And we go back and we match. We make a choice, we either eat or sleep.
Cansado.
Sí, sí.
Están cansados. Vamos a comer cena. Entonces descansar un ratito.
Está bien.
Para empezar la milonga a las 11. Entonces de 11 a 3 de la mañana, 4 de la mañana vamos a bailar. Y entonces los que se fueron van a descansar un poquito.
Yo propongo entonces que el tour sea más largo.
So she says, I propose then that the tour should be longer.
Yo honestamente, no, por favor. Honestamente digo,
Honestly, I can say,
¿cómo hace esta gente para tener tantas cosas juntas?
how can these people take so many things all together?
Qué lindo.
Cursos, conferencias, bailes,
Classes and seminars and going out dancing.
¿qué más?
Turismo, tal lo mismo.
Tourism.
Entrando boca ahora.
Y no estamos impuestos, nosotros muchas veces no estamos impuestos a estar afuera tarde. Para nosotros muchas veces ya está uno acostado ya a las 11 de la noche y no empezando a salir. I'm explaining that for a lot of us, we're used to going to bed at 11 o'clock or maybe 12 o'clock, not going out at that time. It's a different lifestyle for us.
Su inspiración son los milongueros de antes.
Bueno, ¿qué otra curiosidad tienen? ¿Qué quieren saber?
Yo tengo algo para proponer. Continúen mostrarnos un poquito de estilo canción para que puedan apreciar la diferencia.
¿No tenés música?
No tenemos, yo tengo una música de Canaro,
Hay preguntas, hay unas preguntas aquí.
Ajá.
I know you have a lot of inspiration from the music for the part of the woman. Did you hear the music, feel the music, but did you, when you were learning, or you're still learning the tango, do you have any particular inspirations for your own steps and embellishments? Were there any major teachers or your sisters, your mother, anything for you in particular?
Está diciendo que tomas mucha inspiración de la música cuando bailas, pero ella quiere saber si vos personalmente tiene alguna inspiración para los pasos y errores que haces de, por ejemplo, gente con quien aprendiste, profesores, profesoras o sus parientes.
No, no tengo ninguna profesora. Yo no fui a ningún lado a aprender.
She said, I never really had a teacher. I never went anywhere to learn.
Bueno, mi maestro fue Rodolfo.
My teacher really was Rodolfo.
Pero todo lo que yo hago
But everything that I do
es lo que yo siento
is what I feel.
por la música
It's what I
El
feel.
abrazo.
It's what I feel for the music
y por el estado de ánimo también.
and for the state of mind that I'm in.
Siempre es diferente.
It's always different.
Siempre.
Always.
Yo no bailo dos tangos iguales.
I never dance two tangos the same.
Jamás.
Never. Never.
Y bueno, mirando otras personas que bailan,
And also watching other people that dance,
tomo lo que puede ser bueno para mí.
I take what I think could be good for me.
Porque en la mujer yo creo
Because in the case of the woman, I think,
que hay todo un conjunto de cosas.
there's a kind of a coming together of everything.
El cuerpo,
The body,
la estatura,
your height,
el grosor,
your weight,
las piernas,
the way your legs are,
los pies.
your feet.
Hay todo, eso tiene que haber para mí,
What I think is
una armonía.
there must be a harmony of all of these things.
Porque, por ejemplo, yo no podría saltar,
Because, for example, I'm not really somebody who jumps.
no me veo.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing that.
Creo que quedaría ridícula.
I think it would be a little ridiculous.
Entonces, pienso que también influye la edad,
So I think also another influence on you is how old you are.
como para todas las cosas.
Like in everything else.
No podría bailar clásico ahora,
I couldn't dance ballet at this point, for example.
por ejemplo, ¿no? Y bueno, yo voy tomando todo aquello que creo que me puede quedar bien y que yo lo siento.
So I go and I take certain things that I think will fit me well and things that I really have a feeling for.
Para mí es lo más importante.
For me, that's the most important.
Hacer lo que uno siente.
To do what you feel personally.
Yo puedo ver,
I can see.
me gusta,
I can see something and I like it.
lo trabajo,
I work with it.
y si yo lo siento con la música,
And if I feel it with the music,
y hay un feeling,
if there's a real feeling,
lo hago.
then I do it.
Si no, no.
If not, I don't. Tenemos un poco de música en el canal.
Sí, a ver qué quiere preguntar.
I'm going to ask them to show us some of this canjengue style that's a very old form of tango dancing that you almost never see anymore. There are some of the very few people who do this, and I thought it would be interesting for you to see this very much older style. After that, we'll take some more questions.
A ver.
So this is the way people dance like the 1920s now. That is truly something you will almost never see anymore. So I'm so happy they did that for us. Are there any questions about about that or anything else? You and then you, Wayne. Let's start with Brian.
I was wondering how long Rodolfo had been dancing the lead part when he met you.
Él quiere saber cuánto tiempo habías estado bailando la parte de hombre cuando encontraste a ella para la
Y vos tenías 22 años, 23.
She's saying that he was about 22 or 23 when they met.
Claro, él tenía 23 años cuando me conoció a mí.
Okay, she says he was about 22 or 23 when he met me.
Así
Y
que,
de los 7 que bailaba.
And he was dancing since he was 7.
unos cuantos.
A lot.
Y bailaba todos los días.
And she says he danced every day.
Él.
He danced every day.
Todo. Menos los lunes.
Except for Monday, not Monday.
No,
¿Por qué no lunes?
porque estaban las academias cerradas.
Because all the places where people learned were closed. Cuando hablas de las academias, estás hablando de los lugares donde practicaban.
Claro, son.
Yeah, the places where the men got together to practice together were closed on Monday.
Sí. Mucho.
Wayne, there was a question?
2 years ago, I had the pleasure of hearing Maria sing. She has a beautiful voice, and I wonder if we may have
Él dice que hace 2 años, cuando él estuvo con nosotros, dice que tuvo el honor de escucharte cantar. Y dice que tenés una voz tan linda y quiere saber si cantarías para nosotros.
Sí.
Okay, she's going to sing for us now. So we're getting everything out of them today. This is great.
¿Qué vamos a cantar?
Okay, what shall I sing here?
Bueno, el tango es muy triste. Todos los tangos son con letras dramáticas.
Okay, she says the tango is very sad, and all of the tangos have very dramatic lyrics.
Este show vale mucha plata, Daniel, ¿eh? A Daniel le digo que este show vale mucha plata.
She's saying this show we're giving here is worth a lot of money to Daniel.
Este es un tango que es una persona que está realmente muy triste.
Okay, this tango is about a person who's really very, very sad.
Porque ha perdido un amor.
Because she's lost her love.
Y bueno, entonces canta muy dulcemente.
So she sings very sweetly, and she's going to get a little bit of water.
No, bueno. Sí, un poquito, por favor, porque después de bailar canyengue es como que el corazón.
El canyengue es
Sí.
muy cansado. A ver, el canyengue, explícale, es muy cansador.
He says that they're saying that the canyengue way of dancing is very tiring.
Okay.
Because you're kind of crouching down. There's a lot of you're flexing the knees a lot, so it takes a lot of energy. He says you get very tired in the legs.
Así que bailen ahora que son jóvenes ustedes, no de viejos.
So you can dance more easily because you're young and you're old.
Bueno, el tango dice.
Okay, so the words of this tango say.
Más o menos así.
Say more or less like this.
A mí me están sobrando las penas, tal vez porque me lo tomo a pecho, tal vez porque sé que me desdeña y queriendo como quiero y esperando como espero, no consigo que él me quiera. A mí me están sobrando las penas y con penas duele más la soledad. Suerte que tengo un corazón hecho al rigor de quien espera. Si habré perdido esperanza, aguantado malas rachas y si habré tomado penas, mas yo sé bien que no es vivir andar así.
I'm just asking her to tell us a little bit of what the words mean to the song, just so you can.
Este decía que él tenía un amor,
Okay.
y la había esperado mucho tiempo.
Okay, she said this is about a man who had this woman he was in love with, and he had waited for a long time.
Y bueno, y no venía ese amor, no venía a él.
And she wouldn't come to him.
Entonces él decía, suerte que tengo un corazón.
So he says, what good luck that I have a heart.
Que sabe esperar.
That I know how to wait.
Dice, aguantó penas.
I tolerate sorrow and pain.
Se habré
aguantado esperanza.
Se habré domado penas, quiere decir con mucho dolor. Él metía su corazón para adentro.
He had a lot of pain in which he held in his heart.
Pero él dice que se da cuenta.
But he says that he realizes
que no se puede vivir así sin un amor.
That you can't live like this without love.
Entonces él dice, me están sobrando las penas.
So he's saying, I have more than enough pain in me.
Y con penas duele más la soledad.
And with pain and sorrow, solitude is even more hard to bear. So that gives you a little idea of what the words mean.
O sea, el ser humano necesita el amor.
She's saying the human being needs love.
Por eso el tango es tan... yo me emociono mucho cuando lo canto.
She said, I really am very moved when I sing songs.
Porque cada tango tiene un pedacito de la vida de cada.
Because each tango has a little piece of the life of everyone.
Si es de Inglaterra, si es de Buenos Aires.
Doesn't matter if you're from England or if you're from Buenos Aires.
O si es de la China.
Or if you're from China.
El amor, la traición.
Love, betrayal.
La mentira.
Lying.
Esas cosas nos duelen.
These things hurt us in our hearts.
Y el corazón no tiene fronteras.
And the heart has no boundaries, no borders, no frontiers.
Did you sing professionally or locally or
anywhere? No.
Creo que hubiera muerto del corazón.
She said, I think I would have died in my heart.
Porque yo hago una entrega tan total de lo que canto.
Because I just give myself so totally to what I sing.
A mí me ahoga,
To me it's like this.
Es la emoción, y muchas veces yo he querido cantar.
It's a lot of emotion, and a lot of times I've wanted to sing.
Y no puedo.
And I can't.
Lloro.
Because I cry.
Y hace esto.
And I get tight here.
Y no puedo.
And I can't sing.
Es una entrega tan así del corazón, ¿no?
It's a thing of really giving your heart to it.
Es igual cuando yo bailo el canyengue.
He says for me it's like that when I dance canyengue.
Lo tengo a mi padre junto.
Claro.
Acá adentro.
He says I feel I have my father here inside me because he learned that from his father.
Entonces se me hace muy difícil bailar.
So it makes it hard for me to do that, really, to dance that.
A pesar de que ya lo perdí hace muchos años.
Even though I lost him many years ago.
No, difícil. Es un placer para nosotros bailar, ¿no?
Sí. And she's saying it's difficult, but it really is a pleasure for us to dance.
Vamos a que no se pueden bailar 5 canyengues. No se pueden bailar 5 canyengues.
She said we couldn't do 5 canyengue numbers in a row.
Y aparte la emoción.
Uno, ¿no?
La emoción a mí me pone un poquito, ¿cómo puedo decir? Me tira más, me endurece más, no me da la libertad que tengo con el otro tango.
He says it's difficult for me, and in a way, dancing the canyengue kind of hardens me a little bit. I feel the sort of freedom that I do with the other kind of tango.
Porque cuando yo lo bailaba,
because when I danced that way,
a los 7 años,
at 7 years old,
mi papá estaba mirando.
My father was there watching.
En alguna sillita, ¿no?
In one of the chairs, he'd be sitting there.
Entonces, eso siempre me viene a la mente.
So he says that always comes to my mind when I dance. That I always see my father sitting there. We have time for maybe just one or two more questions.
Why isn't there dance practice anymore?
What?
Or the canjengue? Why isn't there
¿Por qué no bailan más el canjengue?
Porque es mucho más difícil que el otro tango.
She says it's much harder than the other tango.
El canjengue no admite bailar fuera de la música.
She says the canjengue style will not let you dance outside of the music. You have to be with the music. You can't dance it if you're not with the music.
Entonces aquí no hay postura. Usted vio que es amontonarse uno al otro y poner acá y escuchar la música y mover los pies.
You have to really take this kind of embrace with the person that you're dancing with and really listen to the music and let it come out through your feet.
Es algo muy especial.
It's something very special.
Muy especial.
Very special. And they are two people who are very special.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you.
Para nosotros es un placer realmente estar.
She says it really is a pleasure for us to be with you. And they're saying, están diciendo igualmente.
Muy bien. Espero que disfruten la estadía en Buenos
I
Aires.
hope you enjoy your time here in Buenos Aires.
Y lástima que nosotros nos vamos mañana. Si
And it's too
no,
bad that we're going away tomorrow.
nos encontramos en algún baile.
If not, we meet each other here somewhere in one of the dances.
Disfrutamos de Estados Unidos también.
Ah, pero sí, es una semana nada más. Voy y vengo.
Estamos más arriba del avión que en Nueva York.
We're going to spend more time in the airplane than we do in New York.
Pero vamos a hacer contactos para ir por más tiempo, porque
And she said we're going to make contacts there in New York to come for a longer period of time.
nos gustaría trabajar en Estados Unidos.
Because we'd like to work in the United States.
Ya Daniel algún día nos va a llevar.
He says one day Daniel's going to take us there.
Si no, no me voy de este mundo antes, ¿no?
He says if I don't leave this world first.
One last question. How do they stay so young? Is it that's dancing, right?
Quiero saber cómo se mantiene tan joven usted.
Bailando, y cantando.
Dancing and singing.
Miren,
She says,
usted no
look,
va a creer esta energía que fluye, que va y viene, lo feliz que nos hace a nosotros.
she says, I just want you to know that this you don't know how happy it makes us, this kind of energy that we give and take with you.
Nosotros admiramos el respeto y el cariño que ustedes le tienen a nuestra música.
We really admire tremendously the respect and affection that you have for our cultural form of music.
Y realmente creo que esto es una comunión.
And I really feel that this is a kind of communion.
Y nosotros lo sentimos así.
And we
Realmente.
really feel it that way.
Y por eso nos mantenemos jóvenes. A pesar de los años.
It's for that that we stay young even with the passage of years.
Sí, pero es muy importante, es verdad, el afecto. Nosotros nos entregamos con el corazón.
She says it really is important. We really give ourselves to this with our whole hearts.
Y la gente se entrega con el corazón.
And the other people give themselves with their whole heart too.
Mira, nosotros nos decían, los franceses son fríos. Los franceses son fríos.
De temperamento.
¿Quién dice?
Nos decían.
Okay, she's saying people tell us sometimes that French people are a bit cold by nature.
Nosotros fuimos a Francia.
We went to France and we were like this.
Cuando nosotros dejamos lo que dejamos siempre, la esencia, el corazón,
When
con el otro,
when we gave them what we always give, which is the feeling and the heart for the
los
other.
franceses nos hacían unas fiestas hermosas.
French people just invited us and treated us to these wonderful parties, and it was beautiful.
Exacto.
Yo creo
I believe
que en 11 años que estamos viajando por Europa,
that in the 11 years that we've been traveling around Europe,
en Francia habremos estado 2 días en hotel.
that in all of these 11 years we only spent 2 days in a hotel in France.
Después todos nos ofrecieron su casa.
Because after that, everyone offered us their home.
Y para nosotros un honor,
And for us, it's a great honor.
un placer.
It's a pleasure and a great honor.
Paseamos en velero por la costa azul. Paseamos en velero.
Un barco.
En los barcos.
Sailboat.
Un barco.
Oh, okay, we went in a sailboat on the Mediterranean coast of France,
Comiendo todo
eating all the time.
y tomando
Y
todo.
tomando todo.
And drinking everything too.
No hay gente fría.
She says there aren't any cold people in this
Si
world.
a la
Si uno se
gente,
entrega,
si a la gente uno,
If you really give yourself to people,
sí, si a la gente uno le entrega amor, recibimos amor.
if you give love to people, you get love back.
En Argentina,
In
en
Argentina,
Francia,
in
en
France,
Estados Unidos,
In the United States,
en Londres, como
in
estuvimos,
London,
en todos lados,
everywhere.
en todos lados. Pero hay que entregar amor,
But you really have to give love.
si no, no.
If not, it doesn't work.
Artista no, acá no somos artistas,
It's not a question of being an artist.
ni profesores,
It's not a question of being a teacher.
somos gente,
We're people.
somos gente que no, bailamos el tango hace muchos años.
We're
No
people
digo,
who have danced the tango for many years.
yo digo que soy milonguero, no
And
profesor.
I say I'm a milonguero. I'm a dancer. I'm not a teacher.
Y eso es lo que yo quiero transmitirle a ustedes.
That's what I want to communicate to you.
Nada más,
Nothing more
nada más.
y nada menos.
and nothing less. Okay, so we'll see everyone tonight at 11 o'clock, dressed to the teeth.